the only thing out of your mouth. 84 is a person who publicly supports. Say that. Or it comes as a particular cause. If you're the 80, if you can, then what is it cost? To buy yourself a restaurant in front of new home. But if the people will listen, they listen up. Well, know your mind gone, gone. Have you ever felt like you were drowning? Talk. Everything tomorrow surrounding. Still moving. Your brain now get it cloud. Disconnect. But then again, what do we expect? What you expect? The body never learned to survive without it. Brain to direct. Come on. One thing you had right that I would never expect. Real talk. You about working your mouth to gain respect. Run it up. While lacking the intellect. To challenge someone direct. Say that. I spoke the truth. You manipulate the proof. Yeah. So the nigga ready for a favor. You spin the story, huh? I see now why your voice is so loud. Too loud. Trying to be heard in the middle of a crowd. Attention seeker. Instead of going to sit down. Sit down. Sit down. You said back in the day you was a pastor. Oh really? But today you choosing to create disasters. Chaos maker. Creating false hope through a stream. And false faith in a pipe dream. I understand, now I got them fires to sheep. Fact we follow, cause we easily led by false prophets with big heads. We should study instead and with own eyes be headless. You don't have passion for the people, no love. No. You have a passion for performance, stage, spirit. Confusing righteous people from jarming. To the good and time or is to transforming. Now look at you traveling around. While everyone you kinda telling you to pipe down. Pipe down, right now. Right now. Tell your little quarter, turn your mic down. Turn it down. Pipe down, right now. Yeah. Tell your little quarter, turn your mic down. For a minute, let's address your call. Let's talk about it. The ones who sit by while you stay silent. Trash, hellish, and bad. Crazy. Where our professing God is an assault. On the book that he wrote, Bible. I wanna say congratulations to your congregation, the Saints Nation. Because to be born again is to have the ultimate obligation. Righteous anger for the behavior, the son of Satan and speak. Coach, you should be worrying about being found. And when it's all said and done, will you be wearing a crown? What crown? So pipe down, right now. Right now. Tell your little quarter, turn your mic down. Turn it down. Pipe down, right now. Woo. Tell your little quarter, turn your mic down. Turn it down. Right now. Turn it down.
One thing for sure, two things for certain is I'm never gonna
tell your little quarter, turn your mic down. Turn it down. Pipe down.
I'm not going to hear that. I'm not going to receive that. That's not my ministry. A lot of y'all sit and give too much of y'all time and effort to people who don't deserve it. Why would you be listening to somebody telling you that 2 + 2 is 92 when you know it's not? That is a waste of my time. It's not of the kingdom. It's not. And I would not subject myself to foolishness, okay? Because I don't like to consider myself to be foolish, so I don't want to sit with it. No, it ain't nothing we can do. We done talking. I'm done talking. I'm done listening as well. Yeah, so I don't know who needs to hear that. I hope it reaches you and I hope it touches your spirit. Stop entertaining foolishness. Because people will start seeing you as foolish or somebody to be played with. And I don't like to be played with. Go play Atari. Go play some spades. But don't play with me. All right, love you, bye. One thing for sure and two things for certain is I'm never going to hear you out.
What's up? It's your girl, super duper. How are y'all viewing me? I'm on my phone right now and I'm looking at this mess, and it looks like it's in portrait, but I can also view myself in landscape. But right now, it's in portrait from what I can see. How are you guys viewing me? So, trying to see if my landscape is. Let me see. About to speak to everybody. Hey, Miss Prima Donna, what's up? For the people are viewing me on their phone. I can see you viewing me on your phone, but I also can see that you can't see my whole entire face because you're viewing me on my phone, on your phone. So let me see how I can fix this for you. Let me see if this changes it. I don't like this. This was some sort of new feature. It's normal on your end, Jim. You can see me landscape, the whole thing is normal. Okay. For the people who are viewing me on their phone and it has gone to a landscaping view, a portrait view, I think you're only viewing half of my face. That's the way I feel about it. That's the way I see it. Let me show you what I see on my phone. Oh, you can't even see me. You can't even see it. I can only see a half of myself. Yeah, you see half of me, right? Okay, thank you, Ms. Wisdom. I'm going to speak to everybody in just a second. And let me figure out how I can fix this for my portrait viewing viewers. I want to make sure that they can see me because this might be a little challenging for them today. If I had known that, I would have told it no. 44 people watching tonight. I'm so glad to see all of you. Let me see. I want to see how I can change the view because I want to change the view myself. Oh, let me change this filter. Hold on so I can see everybody's messages first. Okay, I can see everybody's messages now. Okay, and the portrait people on your phone, you probably can see me better. Okay. All right. Let me speak to everybody first. What's up, French? Hey, Dave. Hey, Jim Carter. Hey, Miss Prima Donna. Tiffany was not wrong, but not right. I agree with that. I totally agree with that. It looks normal on my end. Okay. Hey, Ernesto, how you doing? Miss Wisdom, thank you. Sharon Jones, how are you? Good to see me. Thank you. Travis Chapman, you know what you mean by... I know what I mean by what? You know what you mean by... Travis Chapman, let me know what you're saying. You know what you mean by... ISP in chat. Back from watching my 15-year-old niece with her rock band. Okay, I hope it was great, Day Appeal. That sounds like a good time. Yes, on my phone, you're full screen, but not on my PC. Okay. Okay. Everybody got some sort of vision of me. That's all I want to know. If I do it that way, you're going to see the doorway to my studio. I want to do that. Okay, now I got myself a little bit better in the screen. All right, listen. We are here to get some more Dolton updates, right? But also we're going to be doing this, was Tiffany right? Tiffany Henyard right in a series type situation. Today, we are going to continue with the series, right? And we are about to view some information, okay? All of this information is meant to be able to empower you to be able to use your vote wisely, right? The last time, hey, Master G, how you doing? Okay, be careful on the road, Master G. Be careful, please. Okay? All right. The last time we were on, so if you have not watched me in a few days, I know that there has been a lot going on. There's been lots to view. There are lots of people live. I believe that Shay is live right now. Conscious was live earlier. I know that there's a lot of things going on. So if you're viewing this live and you have not seen my videos prior to this one, you will need to view the part 1 of this, which says Dolton updates, was Tiffany Henyard right? And then you will need to view Dolton updates, Rucker exclusive. We'll go over a little bit of that exclusive video. I think I did that one on Thursday night, or Friday morning early. I can't remember. My days are running together. And so you'll need to view those videos to make sure you have the full picture of everything that we are talking about tonight. I will hit a few highlights for you guys. We will kind of do a recap at the end of this video. I will also link the other videos in the description of this video so that you can view it. Let me tell you what. I really do not like how this is being viewed because I'm trying to view it in the landscape version on my phone, and my phone won't spin. Hold on. This really annoying me because that's how I be seeing y'all comments. Let's see. That's how I view you all's comments. SP, you are broadcasting two at the same time. One is in this mode and one in normal mode. Change to the other video stream. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. How did you do it on your phone? Because you know I'm a little... Oh, let me get this chat filter right again. This chat keeps filtering. Hold on. Because I have it right here on this screen. Now people are leaving the broadcast, which I expected anyway, through notifications. Okay, hold on. Child, this StreamYard junk. I don't like this update stuff they be doing. And then my messages keep going back and I can't view everybody's hold on. Hold the line, please. Hold the line. Dave said go through notifications, but I don't see it. Okay, let me tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, now I see it. Now I see it on my phone in the regular notification. Okay, I got you, Dave. I just got the notification. Okay, I got it. No need to start over. Thank you, Dave. I just got my notification though. We just appear on the phone. Okay. Got my notification. Okay, I got it. I got Dave. Thank you. Love my mods, all of them. I love Dave specifically though. He always gets me together. A lot of them get me together. All right. Now, we'll do a recap at the end of everything that we went over. Again, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to link to this video, the description. I'm going to link the two previous videos because you may need them to understand what it is that we are going to talk about tonight. Tonight, I'm going to pick up where we left off from the first video. I want to say hello to everybody that is here, everybody in the bushes. I know that there are people going live. I know that drama, everybody wants to see that. Everybody wants to be entertained. I understand that. But I'm going to start just, I try to be respectful and not broadcast at the same time, you know, cross people and stuff like that. Just try to let everybody be able to watch. You know, sometimes you want to watch people live. I get it. But I am going to be sharing more information with you. So on the first Dolton updates was Tiffany, right? We talked about Rucker, and we talked about Rucker because he is currently buying up so much property or is obtaining more property in Dolton and seems to be a very popular business owner in that village, in the village of Dolton. Right now, currently holding 3 businesses in the village of Dolton, a cigar lounge, the Weekend Winery, I believe it's called, and they have since, I believe, given him the Melanie Fitness Center. And my question was about the Melanie Fitness Center is that it is a village-owned building. Should there not have been a series of hearings, public hearings, the first public hearing being letting the public know that they were accepting bids or accepting proposals for what to do with the Melanie Fitness Center. I showed you all in the previous video that they were talking about selling the Melanie Fitness Center and that it needed to be sold because Dolton needed money. And they decided to send that issue to the cow meeting, which never really happened about it going to the cow meeting for discussion and or a public hearing. That didn't happen. The next time we heard about the Melanie Fitness Center, there was a cow meeting in October, and there is Rucker speaking before the people. He had given out shakers, and inside the shakers was an agenda of what they were going to be doing with the Melanie Fitness Center. There at no time during this cow meeting, and it's was there talk about other businesses that had put in proposals that the residents could hear about Melanie Fitness Center. The only thing that was talked about was that DeAndre Rucker said that they were going to be ready to open day after Thanksgiving, which would be this Friday, and that the village of Dolton was moving their traffic hearing that they were holding in the Melanie Fitness Center to Village Hall because Rucker was taking over the Melanie Fitness Center. But there had been no hearings about Rucker taking over the Melanie Fitness Center, which, in my opinion, probably should have been done because it is a village-owned building. Hello, how are you? Everybody that's just coming into the room. I can't make out your name and I don't want to say it wrong, so good evening. And so that's kind of where we are. That the village didn't really get any type of input about who or what business was going to be taking over the Melanie Fitness Center. It seemed to be during the cow meeting that the village of Dolton would still be paying for maintenance on the Melanie Fitness Center. Neither have the village residents seen an agreement, a lease agreement, or agreement between the village and Rucker about their lease or what the ramifications of this agreement are. So that hasn't been disclosed and hasn't been seen by the village, by the residents. And so tonight, during the first video, we did talk about that Kiana Belcher. We read the letter that Keith Freeman wrote to the Attorney General's office about the Dolton Rucker Cigar Lounge that Kiana Belcher and DeAndre Rucker showed up to the Village Hall demanding to see Keith Freeman and wanting to know why they hadn't gotten permits and build business license. And then it was disclosed in that letter that ComEd had found out that Mr. Rucker had a junction box installed at the cigar lounge and didn't have any permits to do so or permission and had been stealing electricity. That is according to the letter that Keith Freeman wrote. You want to see the letter, then you should go to that video that says, the first one that has the same title that says Dolton Updates, was Tiffany Henyard right? And that letter is in there. Then we all discovered that we thought one thing. We thought that Tiffany was holding the business license and the building permits hostage because she told Mr. Rucker to fire Kiana Belcher. However, we found out what I just said, that she actually was not holding his business license hostage or the building permits. ComEd had notified the village that they may be seeking litigation against Mr. Rucker for stealing electricity. So, and we also did discuss, would she be with on the outside of her rights to say that he needed to either he needed to let Kiana Belcher go because she's a trustee in the village and that is a clear conflict of interest, or she needed to step aside and recuse herself from anything that had to do with Rucker. Diane Reeves, I am still waiting to find out. Because in my opinion, that begs the other question, Diane Reeves. Diane Reeves' question is the ComEd litigation resolved? I'm still investigating that. Let's say, I'm still researching that, right? Because that would beg the question, if that litigation is still going on, should they have gotten a business license? So, should they have gotten the business license? If that litigation is currently going on, and that is what happened, that he did work without permits, and should he have gotten the business license with this letter from Keith Freeman, with the proof from the building department, and all of those things? Should he have gotten the business license with this new administration? Should that have been done? Nobody else was on what list? French Wrench, because there is no such list. If you are in litigation with ComEd for stealing electricity, should your business get a license? What would that say about the village? Would that then bring the village into litigation because they have issued a license and they already were prior notified that this person was stealing electricity? I don't know. He was on the list. Nobody else. Well, French Wrench, you would first have to put out an RFP or let the public know that you are accepting proposals on the Melanie Fitness Center, right? If you don't put that out there and nobody knows, then of course he would be the only one on the list because he had inside information and he would be the only one that knows. Because as far as I can tell, Kiana Belcher is still a registered agent involved in this business. I don't see anything else to the contrary. As a matter of fact, we're going to look that up in just a few minutes. So the building, see, the way things work here, French Rich, is the building is owned by the village. So there should have been a hearing to discuss with the village what was to be done with the Melanie Fitness Center. And in fact, in that meeting that I showed you, they had voted to send it to the COW, to the committee of the whole meeting, where nothing is voted on, but everything is discussed. That there's a discussion that the public can be in about what should be done with the Melanie Fitness Center. I was rather surprised that no one asked, was there a RFP or a bid put out and posted on the website and maybe published in the newspaper for other business owners that wanted to propose what should be done with the Melanie Fitness Center. Should the Melanie Fitness Center have become an intergovernmental agreement with the Dolton Park District? At the last Dolton meeting, it was told that the Dolton Bears cheerleaders didn't have anywhere to practice. And Stan Brown opened up his church, or had the pastor come and open up the church so that the Dolton Bears cheerleaders could practice. Why they couldn't practice at the Dolton Park District, I don't know. But if that had become an intergovernmental agreement, then the Dolton Bear cheerleaders would always have somewhere to practice for their games and stuff, because they could go right to the Melanie Fitness Center and do so in one of the rooms there, right? Yeah, right. So that's why I'm asking, what was put out there? Was it put out there? I didn't see anything. There were not any hearings. The only thing we saw was a meeting at the Cow where Mr. Rucker laid out his plans and said that they would be open by the day after Thanksgiving, which is this Friday, Black Friday. And so there's a lot of idea you could do for kid or people. Yeah, it used to be open. If you go to the Melanie Fitness Center on Facebook, you'll see that page. That place was popping. They used to have everything there. Zumba classes, I heard. There was swim classes, exercise classes for the seniors. There was a lot of things there. So go look at their Facebook page. I agree with that. Johnny Hooker, I agree with that. That the process was skewed and a do-over is needed, but at the least, right, they need to have the public hearings to decide, or at least let their voice be heard about what they want to be seen with the Melanie Fitness Center. But, because if they still have to carry the maintenance, which was the talk at the Cow meeting, they could have done an intergovernmental agreement with the Park District, and the Park District could have carried their own maintenance. And then it would have thus still been open to the public, and the Dolton residents would be able to go in and, use the facilities. The Park District is a separate entity from the village. They get their own funding. So they definitely could have secured funding to do whatever repairs and mitigation needed to be done at the Melanie Fitness Center. But that aside, let's move on. We'll come back. We'll circle back to that at the end, right? So let's go forward. We already made the connection between Rucker and Kiana Belcher. For me, I feel like it's a clear conflict of interest. What is going on there? I think Tiffany was more for the kids and elders than the current administration. She definitely had, I think it was a twofold reason for that. But I do think she did do a lot of things with them in mind. Twofold reason for that, but yeah. So we already established the connection between Kiana Belcher and DeAndre Rucker. In the exclusive sneak peek, I showed some of you all possibly why he may be getting all of these things. You should watch that video if you have not seen it. We'll run through some of it in just a moment. But the one thing I wanted to talk about, and I have tagged another content creator in this video, because we are going to talk about, I'm going to actually play a part of his video at the end for you guys to see and understand some more. Okay. But let's talk about this cigar lounge that as I read you all in the exclusive about who is Rucker, um, the Cigar Lounge in Hammond, Indiana, or in Indiana, um, has an address, and the address comes back to 16 businesses. 16 businesses. I'm going to bring up an article because we're going to talk. And this particular, the Cigar Lounge in Dolton, I believe, is a BYOB. So it's a bring your own bottle. And then you can smoke. I think they have the cigars available there for you to purchase and, smoke. So let's see. There we go. So we're going to learn a little bit more about DeAndre Rucker. And also we are going to, keep in mind that he has 16 businesses. Kiana Belcher is a registered agent of a few of those businesses. I don't know of how many. I didn't count. We'll look it up in real time on this broadcast. But I want to read this article to you because this is rather concerning and important at the same time. This is a Chicago Tribune article, and it says, Chicago woman charged with unaliving a Hammond pedestrian. Let's see what this article says. It says, a Chicago woman is facing charges for allegedly hitting and unaliving a man last summer in Hammond. This actually took place in June of 2022. So 1 year, about a year and some change after Tiffany had been in office for a year. It says, and I don't know how to say her first name, and I don't want to mess it up. So I'm going to say Miss Jackson, 39, was charged Monday with a level 4 felony, leaving the scene of an accident resulting in death or catastrophic injury. She has not yet been apprehended, according to court records. So during this time, keep the timeline in mind. This is 2022. At that time, this man was hit, and the person that hit them drove off, and they hadn't been apprehended. Hammond police arrived just before 10 p.m., June 20th, 2022, to the 1500 block of Chicago Street for a man lying unresponsive in the street. The victim was identified as Ruben Melendez. The force threw him in the air, and he hit a utility pole, according to court records. He was pronounced unalived at the scene. East Chicago city cameras captured a black GMC Yukon hit Melendez, braked, and swerved before taking off, according to the affidavit. A license plate reader recorded the plate number. An investigator found more footage showing a woman wearing a navy baseball hat, black tank top, gold necklace, and light-colored ribbed jeans with a bright pink purse. The woman went to a cigar shop on Chicago Street for 90 minutes before leaving via the bar next door. She and a man, the cigar shop owner, talked near the SUV before she hopped inside and drove off. The vehicle was registered under Quality Mindset Services. Keep that business in mind. We are going to come back to that and talk about it and research it. The owner also owned the cigar shop. Chicago police pulled the vehicle over on 4700 block of West North Avenue on June 27th. The driver said he was told to take it to a chop shop. Y'all want me to read that again or not? Or y'all heard what I said? Because listen, when I read that, this is what I said.
What? What?
Okay. Okay. When I read that, I said, huh? I'm gonna read that line again. Chicago pulled the vehicle over on the 4700 block of West North Avenue on June 27th. The driver said he was told to take it to a chop shop. The SUV was impounded and taken to the Hammond Police Department. After a search warrant, a witness confirmed the photograph of the woman was Jackson, who worked for Quality Mindset Services and was allowed to drive the SUV. An anonymous tipster on October the 5th identified the female driver as, you said, what's a chop shop? French wrench. A chop shop it is a place you take if something happened, like something happened here. It's a place you take a vehicle and they dismantle the car so it cannot be recognized. They take it apart. I mean, they take it down to the shell. And it is no longer recognizable or exist ever again. Because they're either going to crush it and melt it down, or they're going to sell the individual pieces for parts like at a junkyard. Okay? Identified the female driver as Jackson, and there was a video on Facebook showing her speaking at a Dolton, Illinois village board meeting. The caller claimed Jackson's boyfriend was the man who owned the cigar bar. Dolton Police Chief Robert Collins identified her alleged boyfriend, who frequently went to board meetings. He thought the woman was Jackson, but couldn't be sure. Okay, so we know that the owner of the cigar shop was DeAndre Rucker. Now, let's talk about this Quality Mindset Services. Quality Mindset Services was registered in Illinois, and it also was registered in Ohio, and it also was registered in Michigan. You can type in these states and you can say Ohio business lookup. Let's do it. So, this right here is the Ohio Secretary of State, where you can look up businesses. Okay, you put the name in of the business you're looking for, and it'll come up. This one here says Quality Mindset Services. That's who the SUV was registered to. Quality Mindset Services. It says now that the status is canceled, but let's scroll down here and look. Look when it was canceled. So it was opened in 2020. Let's look at this image. We're going to share this page instead. And it says the registered agent is Kiana Belcher. This was in 2020. It also has DeAndre Rucker, but it says the registered agent is Kiana Belcher. This was registered in 2020. Now let's go back and view the rest of the registrations. This is in the state of Ohio. This is for Ohio. I don't know why this business was registered in Ohio, but it was. But it's also registered. It was also registered in Indiana and also registered in Illinois. We'll get there though. Okay, let's go to the next image. All right. Here is the certificate for, let's see what date this one was for. 3/20/2024. And there is Kiana Belcher's name again, listed as the registered agent. There's her name with Ohio address. Quality Mindset Services. They registered as a LLC. Name of current agent, Kiana Belcher. This is March of 2024. Who want to tell me what was going on during that time? Where in Ohio? Let's see what city. Westlake, I believe. Westlake, Ohio. All right, let's look at the next one. The next paper is the agent requirement letter. So on April the 24th, 2024, the state of Ohio sent out a agent requirement letter. Let's look and see what the letter says. Okay, they sent the agent requirement letter to the address they had on file. And it says, "Dear business owner or representative, our office has received notification that the business entity referenced above has failed to maintain a statutory agent. The prior agent may have filed a resignation or failed to respond to a recent notice or inquiry. The law requires corporations and limited liability companies to maintain a valid statutory agent upon whom any process, notice, or demand may be served. The agent may be a resident of Ohio or a business entity with an Ohio address. This notice is sent pursuant to Ohio Revised Code sections 1701.07, 1702.06, and 1703.15 and 1706.09. The applicable section of the law provides for cancellation of the business entity if a subsequent agent is not named within 30 days of the date thereof. To prevent cancellation of your business entity, file a statutory agent update within the next 30 days. Okay? That notice was sent April the 24th, 2024. Now, I'm going to show you the cancellation. This was the cancellation, and it wasn't canceled until May. See the date there, May 29th, 2024. This was just last year. And so they canceled the business license because no one responded as the registered agent. And so they canceled the business license in Ohio. Okay. So, but let's go to, you want to know what happened to Miss Jackson. Let's go see what happened to Miss Jackson. Okay. So when I went to look up the case, I showed you in the last video that you could look up the cases in Indiana and you could get all of the information that you wanted right there. You didn't have to FOIA anything, nothing. They had everything. In this particular case, hold on, let me see. Let me see if I can flip to the, okay. Let me show you this tab first. Here it is right here. This is the case lookup for the state of Indiana. And there is her case right there, state of Indiana versus Miss Jackson. And it shows you that the status was decided on August the 9th of 2024. Okay. When you scroll down and you look at the history of the case, right? There's no papers you can click on here. It says probable cause affidavit. You can't click on that. Subpoenas, you can't click on any of that because Ms. Jackson took a plea agreement. And so what we can see is the plea agreement. And so that's what I'm going to show you now is the plea agreement. And this would be the plea agreement and what happened in this case. It says the state of Indiana appears by Deputy Prosecuting Attorney Lindsay Lanham. The defendant, Ms. Jackson, appears in person with counsel. She had an attorney. His name was Kevin Milner. Sentencing hearing is conducted and concluded. The defendant, having entered a plea of guilty pursuant to a plea agreement, which is accepted on this date, the court now enters judgment of conviction for the offense of count 1, leaving the scene of an accident resulting in unalive or catastrophic injury, a level 4 felony. This is the sentencing statement. Having considered the written pre-sentence investigation report, the contents of which the court incorporates by reference into this order, as well as criteria for sentencing as set forth in IC 35-381-7-1, the court enters the following findings in sentencing. Findings: aggravating circumstances. The court finds the nature and circumstances of the crime to be a significant aggravating factor in that the defendant did not merely leave the scene after striking Ruben Melendez, but never called the police or 911 to report the accident, even anonymously to obtain help for him. She did not turn the car over to the police as evidence. Therefore, she left the family to wonder who had committed the crime and police to expend effort, time, and money to investigate the crime. These facts indicate an effort to hide her crime, which reflects poorly on her character. Mitigating circumstances. The defendant has no history of delinquency or criminal activity, and the defendant has led a law-abiding life for a substantial period before the commission of the crime. The defendant is likely to respond affirmatively to probation or short-term imprisonment. The character and attitudes of the defendant indicate that the defendant is unlikely to commit another crime. Imprisonment of the defendant will result in undue hardship to the defendant or dependents of the defendant. The defendant has expressed sincere remorse for her crime, which the court believes to be genuine. After presentation of evidence and hearing argument, the court finds that the aggravating and mitigating factors balance each other. However, the court acknowledges that the 4-year cap is a substantially mitigated sentence. This is the sentencing. The court now sentences the defendant as follows. The defendant is now ordered committed to the custody of the Department of Correction for a period of 4 years, which is the maximum sentence under the plea. The sentence of imprisonment is to be served in Lake County Community Corrections with initial placement into the female work program. The defendant was incarcerated on May 25th, 2023. The defendant is entitled to jail time credit and good time credit as provided by law for the above date on a level 4 felony. The defendant is assessed court costs to be deducted from the bond proceeds. The bond is ordered released to attorney Kevin Milner after payment of court costs. If the defendant wishes to appeal her sentence, she is to file a notice of appeal with the court within 30 days pursuant to law. The defendant is ordered to report to supervision of the Lake County Community Corrections Program on August 2nd, 2024 by 9 a.m. for execution of the judgment of the court. In the event of a violation of the rules governing the defendant's ordered to serve a sentence in the Lake County Community Corrections Program, the defendant is to be transported to the Lake County Jail, where she is to be held without bail. If after 48 hours no petition to expel has been filed, The sheriff is directed to transport the defendant back to the Lake County Community Corrections. The clerk of court is directed to prepare an electronic extract of judgment, parties notified, cause disposed. So they received the maximum amount of time under the plea agreement, which was 4 years. I believe she served a small amount of time in jail after she posted bond, so they'll give her credit for that time. So currently, she should be serving her sentence for this if she hasn't already gotten. Well, she shouldn't be out on the maximum sentence is 4 years, so the least amount of time she would spend is 2 years for good behavior. At the most, I would say probably she'll be released after 3 years, so maybe next year. There were hold on. So during this time, at the beginning of this, and I'm going to show you this now. Hold on. Let me make sure I have the right paper. So at the beginning of this, hold on, I need to bring up. At the beginning of this, Miss Jackson was listed as the registered agent. For, I believe it was Rucker Holding. Hold on one second. We're getting ready to look this up in real time, okay? Give me 1 second. And I bring this up to say that she was the registered agent, and then the registered agent switched to Kiana Belcher in the middle of all of this. I don't know why. Let me let y'all see this page. I'm currently on the Illinois business lookup page. And I just want to say we learned that Rucker has 16 businesses registered to the Hammond, Indiana address. But when you look up Kiana Belcher on the Illinois business lookup as the registered agent, because what I did was put in registered agent and then I put her name, right? We see all of these businesses. Rucker Lending and Credit Union, she used to be with that as well. But when you try to put in Rucker Holdings as a business name, because this is what I'm concerned about. The cigar lounge says Rucker's Cigar Lounge, I believe. Is it listed under Rucker Holding? Because when you put in Rucker Holding, let me put in Rucker Holdings LLC. The Secretary of State says they have no results for Rucker Holding. So let's put in registered agent DeAndre Rucker. Okay, and when we do that, he has a lot of businesses in Illinois that have been dissolved or terminated. We're looking for Rucker Holdings. You got DLR Wine Bar. We're looking for Rucker Holdings, right? Because that's what the name should be under, maybe, for the cigar. Here's Rucker's Cigar Lounge right here. It says dissolved. Rucker Cigar Lounge Inc. Ain't that what I say right there? I just want to make sure I'm not making up anything. Rucker Cigar Lounge. It lists Lansing as the address. Let's see. Rucker Holding. President naming it Rucker Holding. How? Because when we looked up Rucker Holding, I just showed you guys. Rucker Holding, let's see, was not in his list. Rucker Holding. Make sure I'm not missing it. Y'all tell me if I'm missing it. What year did Kiana take over as the agent after Miss Jackson went to jail? What's the time frame again? No, Kiana actually took over in the middle of this. You can see that there was an agent change in the middle of this. Let me bring it up on the hold on, I'll bring it up for you on the Indiana because it's under Indiana, I believe. Hold on, my computer running slow because I got a lot of windows open. Okay. I can close this one because we read the sentencing report. And we've got to go back and talk about we have to go back and talk about quality mindsets and what type of business it is, what the description is. What is that? Okay, let me go to the Indiana business lookup and I'll show you where that changed. Give me 1 second. I'm going to share this tab right here. This is the Indiana business lookup. So that's all you put in Google. You put in Indiana business lookup and it'll bring up their business page. So we're going to put in business name. We're going to put in Rucker Holdings LLC. We got to click We Not a Robot. And then we're going to click search. Hey! For Rucker Holding to Illinois Secretary of State. Hold on. For Rucker Holdings, go to Illinois Secretary of State and type in Rucker and Rucker Holding. Oh, so it's changed now. Okay. Because I saw the new web page too. Okay, so here's the Rucker Holdings. This is weird. I don't think this is the right one. And then again, it could be. Hold on, I'll go back to the Illinois Secretary of State, okay? I'm gonna put in DeAndre Rucker's name for this one. The individual investor, I'm going to play a portion of your video at the end. I just want to make sure that was okay. That's okay. Because that's why I tagged you in this video. Because I want to play a portion of your video at the end of this. If you are not subscribed to the individual investor, please go and subscribe to his channel. He has a lot of informational videos over there that you should view. Thank you. All right, so let's put registered agent name. Okay. And so after I'm just guessing that, but after the incident happened with the man being unalived in Hammond, he got his business license revoked for Rucker Holding Inc. So as you can see right there, it says revoked, inactive as of 8/5/2024. Okay, that's what happened. The business license was revoked. So that's what happened after that. Hold on one second. I'm gonna go. And then you hit these tabs, it'll show you the filing history. Registration statement, business entity report, revocation. It'll, if you click on those, it will show you all of that there. Hold on, I gotta I'm gonna open up this file. Okay, this is for Indiana. This was when they opened it, when they opened up Rucker Holdings and registered it as a business in Indiana, Rucker Holding Inc. And that was the address of the cigar lounge. It's also the address of the 16 other businesses that he had open in Indiana. If you go and watch that video from Thursday, you'll get all the information on that. You see the president is DeAndre Rucker. This is when it was active. Okay. Let's go now back to the Illinois business lookup. And my friend said to look up Rucker and Rucker Holding. Let me see if I put I wonder if it matters if I put the. All right. So it says involuntary dissolution. Funny, the registered agent says Willina Joseph. But right here, you see Miss Jackson and you see DeAndre Rucker. They both were there. Let's look at the file history. When you go to the file history, I think it was. Let me see if it was this one. So the registered agent on this one, this date is February 18th, 2022, was Miss Jackson. This was before the incident. Okay, because the incident happened in June. This is February. Okay. And it's DeAndre Rucker and Miss Jackson as the registered agents, right? And then let's check the March. That was 2022. Let's check March of 2023. March of 2023, it still says the registered agent is Miss Jackson and Mr. Rucker. March 6, 2023. And then let's go to May. May of 2023. Now you have Miss Jackson and Miss Joseph, which is interesting to me. Very interesting. What did it say? One of them, you will find Jackson was listed as CFO, and shortly after the incident, Belcher became the CFO. And so this was the 2023. Let me go back. Because this is a mystery, because this is under Rucker and Rucker, but we have Rucker Holding as well. So let's look at the August. Let's see what the August one says. The August one just has DeAndre Rucker, which I don't think this is the right one. Cause hold on one second. Let's go up here and do this. One of them, okay. Rucker holding. Yeah, that's the one I'm looking for. That's the one I'm gonna hold on. But there are so many businesses, right? That this is a shell game. This is a game that you have to. This is freaking hilarious to me. Hold on, because I think I have it downloaded. Yeah, I do. All right. So I had it downloaded anyway. So I'm going to share this tab. So here's Record Holding Inc. Right here, it has Miss Jackson as the registered agent, and then it has Kiana Belcher. The date on this is May 17th, 2023. That's the date for this one. And it has Kiana Belcher on there. Now, let's go back. Let's go to this one. Here it is right here. April 25th, 2023. You see that it has DeAndre Rucker as president. You have a secretary of somebody named Aline Witherspoon, and you have Miss Belcher as the CFO. This is May 18th. See this paper? I might be going too fast. All right, you see this? State of Illinois, filed May 18th, 2020. Rucker Holding Inc. Registered agent, DeAndre Rucker. But then you have president, secretary, and director, Kiana Belcher. This says May 18th, 2020. This is when Jesse White was secretary. Okay, I'm going to put that in there and show. But you see all of this moving around? Do you all see all of this moving around? This is 2020. So she was the director in 2020. The incident happened in 2022. So she went from director to CFO. But Miss Jackson, hold on. You have to keep the receipts. Let's do business name. Let's do Rucker Holding. You say? Yeah. Okay, here go Rucker Holding. It says agent vacated. This is the one. Look at all of this moving around. So agent change date 3/15/2024. But let's look at the filing history. Okay. There's a lot of filing history here. So we know that this incident occurred in June of 2022. Right? So this is March of 2022. Let's look at this. We also saw these other papers. So March of 2022, you just have DeAndre Rucker, and you have the secretary. DeAndre Rucker lists himself as director. So when did Kiana? We saw the other paper that said Kiana was the director. This is so interesting. There are so many. I mean, how would you even be able to follow these businesses, right? So let's look at May. This was 2022. Let's look at September of 2022. Okay. September of 2022, you have the registered agent as Miss Jackson. Okay, that's September. That's after the incident occurred. But there is a lot of shuffling. How do you know which business is correct? Miss Belcher has her name on some papers. There's some papers with this lady's name. This is a lot. This is a lot. This is a lot. It's a lot to decipher, unpack what's right, what's wrong, what business owns the Rucker Cigar Lounge, and do they have a valid? Are they registered with the Secretary of State? Are they registered? Those are the questions. With all of this here going on, and plus what I told you all about Mr. Rucker on the previous. So I'm gonna play a video at the end, but let's go back. The last broadcast I had, I showed you all this court case that is active right now in Indiana. It is Brenda Mason and Mason Maintenance Cleaning Service versus DeAndre Rucker. Now, keep in mind, Kiana Belcher is either currently or has previously been involved with Rucker's businesses. I know that some people were not here. The last we left off on number 21. In the previous numbers, we found out that Mr. Rucker has over 16 businesses registered to this East Chicago, Indiana address, which was the address of the old cigar lounge in Indiana. We found out that, let's start with reading number 21. Oh, let me show you guys, because a lot of people wanted to know what the Ernie Powell Plaza and the Gene S. Porter Plaza in Ho, Indiana look like. So let me show you what those two facilities look like. They are rest stops. They are rest stops in Indiana. And let me show you what they look like. I'm just waiting for the file to open, and then I'll show it to you. We found out that Miss Mason was contracted through DeAndre Rucker's cleaning business called Royalty Cleaning. To subcontract the cleaning of these rest areas. So let me show you what the rest areas look like. These are the two rest stops that Brenda Mason and her company was subcontracted to clean these two rest stops here. Okay. These are the two rest stops that she was subcontracted to clean under DeAndre Rucker. Okay. Now let's look at Let's finish reading this. We stopped at number 21. We found out was 21. In 20, it says the plaintiffs have since learned that DeAndre Rucker is using his numerous businesses that have similar names, the same corporate officers, business purposes, and the same registered headquarters to ensure that third parties like Brenda Mason have no way of knowing which entity they are truly contracting with. Upon information and belief, DeAndre Rucker intermingled funds with and between his businesses to render them indistinguishable from one another and himself. And we just saw that we found it difficult just trying to get a handle on who is the registered agent for Rucker Holdings or Rucker and Rucker Holding or Rucker and Rucker's Holdings. We just had a whole time trying to figure out that. That's just one business, and he has 16. I can't imagine what that other paperwork looks like. Upon information and belief, DeAndre Rucker has failed to complete the various formalities required by each business structure. DeAndre Rucker uses his various registered entities as an opportunistic way to defraud creditors and to hinder or completely avoid adverse judgments. Royalty King and the other businesses mentioned above operate as alter egos of DeAndre Rucker. Defendant DeAndre Rucker has acted in a way to intertwine the aforementioned businesses so as to render them indistinguishable from one another and himself. So DeAndre Rucker, Royalty King Cleaning Services, LLC, Royalty King Cleaners, LLC, Royalty King Holdings, LLC. I didn't even know there was a holdings. And Rucker Holding, Inc. shall be referred to collectively as DeAndre Rucker. That's right, individual investor. I did not find a resignation letter either. In my findings, still have not found it. Let's see, count 1 says breach of contract. Plaintiffs incorporate the foregoing allegations as if set forth fully herein and are pled in the alternative to count 2 and count 3. Breach of contract occurs when a contract existed, the defendant breached the contract, and the plaintiff suffered damage as a result of the defendant's breach. Here, there existed a services agreement between DeAndre Rucker and Mason that both parties continued to follow through August 2022. In March of 2022, DeAndre Rucker informed Mason that they withheld $15,000 for an alleged fine DeAndre Rucker was required to pay for failure to meet standards of cleanliness required by the state of Indiana. The services agreement between Rucker and Mason did not include a provision that allowed DeAndre Rucker the right to withhold pay from Mason or that Mason would be liable for payment of any fines received by the contracting company. DeAndre Rucker breached the services agreement between itself and Mason when it wrongfully withheld $15,000 in funds it contractually owed to Mason. Mason suffered damages in the amount of $15,000 for DeAndre Rucker's breach of services agreement in March of 2022. Pursuant to the services agreement, Mason performed cleaning services for DeAndre Rucker for the month of August 2022. Despite acknowledging Mason's performance, DeAndre Rucker failed or refused to provide payment in the amount of $45,000 to Mason for services provided. Mason suffered damages in the amount of $45,000 for DeAndre Rucker's breach of services agreement in August of 2022. Wherefore, plaintiffs respectfully request this court enter judgment against DeAndre Rucker for breach of contract in the amount of $113,000 as granted in the April 16, 2024 order granting summary judgment and for all other just and proper relief. So she was already previously granted a breach of contract amount for $113,000. Lord. Count 2, actual fraud. Plaintiff incorporates the foregoing allegations in paragraphs 1 through 24 as if set forth fully herein and are pled in the alternative to count 1 and count 3. Actual fraud exists when the fraud-feasor makes at least one representation of past or existing fact, which is false, which the fraud-feasor knew to be false or made with reckless disregard as to its truth or falsity, upon which the plaintiff reasonably relied and which harmed the plaintiff. Here on August 19th, 2022, DeAndre Rucker wrote a letter to Mason in which DeAndre Rucker represented that they will be deducting $16,000 from their next payment for Mason's August 2022 services and terminated their services agreement with Mason effective September 1, 2022. In its August 19th, 2022 letter to Mason, DeAndre Rucker represented to Mason that she would at least receive $29,000 without contest for Mason's August 2022 services. DeAndre Rucker did not intend to pay Mason anything for the August 2022 services. To date, Mason has not received the $29,000 that DeAndre Rucker represented it would provide in payment. Based upon the parties' conduct and continued adherence to the services agreement, Mason reasonably relied upon DeAndre Rucker's representation that it would provide payment in the amount of at least $29,000 for Mason's August 2022 services. Mason suffered damages in the amount of $29,000 that DeAndre Rucker represented it would pay to Mason but did not. Pursuant to Indiana Code 34-24-2-1, an award of treble damages is appropriate for a claim of actual fraud. Wherefore, plaintiffs pray that the court enter judgment in their favor against DeAndre Rucker, defendants for compensatory treble damages, attorney fees, and for any and all further relief that this court deems fair, equitable, and just. Count 3, unjust enrichment. Plaintiff incorporates the foregoing allegations in paragraphs 1 through 24 as set forth fully herein and are pled in the alternative count 1 and count 2. Unjust enrichment exists where a plaintiff confers a measurable benefit on the defendant. Under such circumstances, the defendant's retention of the benefit without payment would be unjust. Here, Mason conferred a measurable benefit on DeAndre Rucker when Mason provided cleaning services for the Ernie Powell Plaza and the Gene S. Porter Plaza in Ho, Indiana. DeAndre Rucker's retention of the benefit of Mason's cleaning services without providing payment for said cleaning services would constitute unjust enrichment. Wherefore, plaintiffs pray the court enter judgment in their favor and against DeAndre Rucker for compensatory damages in the amount of $113,000 and for any and all further relief that this court deems fair, equitable, and just. Respectfully, David Wu. This is an active and current case alleging fraud, alleging non-payment. Now, let's talk about this quality mindset. Give me 1 second to find what I'm looking for. I'm also going to play a video. The video is very short, but it is something that we need to look at. You all need to know and hear. Upon looking up this quality mindsets, right? This quality mindset services, which Miss Jackson was driving a vehicle that was registered to this business. It later was found out that this business, which I just showed you all, that Kiana Belcher was the registered agent for in Ohio. DeAndre Rucker is the registered agent in Michigan, I believe. And if I'm remembering correctly, it's also registered in Illinois. Now we are going to take a look, and what you are looking at is the description, because this business is said to be held in Lansing, Illinois. Okay. The description of this business. Let's listen to this. Quality Mindset Services is located in Lansing, Illinois. This organization primarily operates in the quality assurance consultant business industry within the engineering, accounting, research, and management services sector. This organization has been operating for approximately 6 years. Quality Mindset Services is estimated to generate $253,921 in annual revenues and employs approximately 4 people at this single location. What does that even mean? What do they do? What do they even do? It just says an industry within the engineering, accounting, research, and management services sector. It does not tell you anything about what this business actually does or who they actually service. Okay, that was a red flag for me, because I was like, wow. Then as I went to look up, this business, right, to find out about this business, because Kiana Belcher is a registered agent of it in Ohio. Rucker is a registered agent of it in Michigan. Is paperwork is just back and forth and here and there. You see that Quality Mindsets has some lawsuits, which I found interesting. Let me go to, hold on. Yeah, this is it right here. And most of the lawsuits are all the same premise. So we're going to talk about, let me read this filing to you of Quality Mindsets. You can look this up on Trellis. This is on Trellis. And you will see Quality Mindset Services, Royalty Cleaning Services, LLC, and DeAndre Rucker. You will see that as the defendant. The plaintiff is, I think it is Cloud Fund. Now listen to this. Hold on. Okay. This document is a legal filing consisting of a summons and verified complaint filed by Cloud Fund LLC against Quality Mindset Services, Royalty Cleaning Services LLC, and DeAndre Lamont Rucker in the Supreme Court of the State of New York, County of Nassau. The plaintiff, Cloud Fund LLC, is a New York-based limited liability company engaging in purchasing future accounts receivable from merchants. The defendants are Indiana-based companies and individual resident of Indiana. Now, let me explain to you, or let's see if I can tell you what Cloud Fund is. The address is one office above the Wine Bar and Chicken Shack in Lansing. Exactly. I'm gonna try to give you in layman's terms what Cloud Fund LLC is. So Cloud Fund LLC, in you could equate it to, right? You can equate it to a payday business loan. Okay, a payday business loan company. You know how you go into the payday loan place and you take out a loan, they give you a loan based on your paycheck, what you get. And so every time you get paid, they take money out of your paycheck before you get your paycheck to pay that loan back. But you got the money up front. You got the money up front. So you go to the payday loan page. You say, I need a $500. They say, when you get paid, you say, I get paid every 2 weeks on Friday. They say, okay, every 2 weeks on Friday, we're going to take out $250 until you pay back this $500. You have to make, your paycheck has to be at least $500 and above in order to get the $500 that you're asking them for. And so you bring in all your paycheck stubs and they look at all your paycheck stubs and make sure that every 2 weeks you getting like $900 or $1,200. And once they verify that and make sure that you work there, blah, 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 then they give you the $500. I know y'all know about them payday loans, okay? Because them payday loans used to come in handy when you be like, oh, I go get a payday loan right quick, okay? That's what Cloud LLC is, that type of funding entity for businesses. Businesses can leverage their future sales. So they can say, I'm going to get this amount of money from sales this month, or next month. I need a loan for this amount. Once you turn in the paperwork to verify that's what you're going to be receiving in receivable funds, then they'll give you the loan based on that. So let's finish reading. The complaint outlines that on June 26, 2023, Cloud Fund LLC and the merchant defendants entered into a future receipt sale and purchase agreement. Under this agreement, Cloud Fund LLC agreed to purchase future business receipts from the defendants valued at $79,950 for a purchase price of $50,000. So they told them they was going to be getting $79,950 in future money coming in, and they wanted to borrow $50,000 of that 79 from them. The defendants were to remit 3% of their business receipts daily until the purchase amount was paid. So remember when I told you, you get your paycheck every month. Every time you get paid, they're going to take this out till you pay the loan back. That's what that is. Okay. However, the defendants allegedly breached the agreement by seizing payments on August 4th, 2023, leaving an outstanding balance of $68,263. The complaint includes 3 causes of action: breach of contract against the merchant defendants, enforcement of personal guarantees against DeAndre Lamont Rucker, and a claim for contractual attorney's fees. Cloud Fund LLC seeks judgment for the outstanding balance with interest, attorney fees, and other related costs. The filing also includes a notice of electronic filing, indicating the case is being processed through the New York State Court's e-filing system. Anybody talking? Y'all need to let it marinate. Okay. Because I did. If you didn't, I did. That's a lot of money that people is owing. Huh? I mean, that's a lot of debt. Listen, I'm very concerned. I'm very concerned about these businesses that are opening now. This person is now being given the Melanie Fitness Center. Ain't nobody concerned but me. You said move on, super. Get over it. Y'all don't care? Okay. No problem. If that's the way y'all feel about it, okay, no problem. I'm going to play a video because I want to make sure that everybody fully understands, because you need to know who's coming in your community, opening up businesses. We need to start knowing these things. How child, you know, lock the doors, lock the door, lock the doors, lock the doors, because baby, listen, that okay, so do we need to add this up? Because now we're saying that Brenda Mason, now I need a piece of paper, say she's owed $113,000, and that's still an active pending situation. Lord have mercy, my pen, I can't, trying to add stuff up for y'all. My pen, these are my favorite pens, by the way. I'm gonna show y'all my favorite pens. They expensive though, but they're my favorite. Anyway, now we saying that $113,000 is owed to Brenda. $68,000 is owed to Cloud. There were several of these lawsuits on different companies. Individual investor, you still in here? How many lawsuits was it? Because I could not tell. I saw a few. When I say a few, I saw 3 of them. Right? I saw 3 of them. There are several other of those, I believe. There was $1 million plus lawsuit out of Texas. Not sure if it's settled. Whew, Lord have mercy. So now we at, my God, we at 1.18 something. Let's not forget about the rent that was owed, the $7,000 to $7,700 in rent that was owed. Now you saying $1 million. Lord have mercy. Close the doors. Close the doors. Close the doors. These multiple 3, maybe 4 or more, I researched maybe a year ago. Close the doors. Close the doors. Dolton, close the doors. Okay? What? I'm so nervous right now. I'm so nervous right now. Okay? What are we doing? What was this? What are we doing? What are we doing with the information that we now know? What are we doing? I mean, I don't know. Do you all think this is emergency? Listen, I can't take this right now. I'm gonna let y'all look at this video because I'm highly disturbed at this moment. But I may not be able to let y'all listen to the video. I have to see if the video worked because StreamYard be acting up. I'm about to switch because StreamYard is really making me mad. Hold on one second. You bet Tiffany only knew a part of this? I don't know. I mean, this is a small area, right? So everybody knows everybody. And I would say allegedly they all are friends or were friends until everything didn't really go as planned. Maybe, I don't know. Allegedly. I don't know. Right? So who knows? Who knew what? Who knows? Okay.
What's up, everyone? Hope you're doing well. So
Hold
I
on
originally
one
uploaded
second.
this video.
Gotta fast forward to this part of the video. Okay, we're gonna, this part of the video is about, it's not that long. Okay, let me see. Okay. I get you. I mean, I just want to know if y'all want me to keep doing this series of investigations, or y'all don't want me to do these series of investigations and y'all don't care. Because if y'all don't care, it's okay that you don't care. Trust me, it's okay that you don't care. Okay. Here. Okay. So we're gonna watch a piece of this video. This video, I forgot what it was entitled. Individual investor. I'm so sorry that I forgot what the title of this video is, but I will link the video to the description. But we're only going to look at this small portion. This is from the individual investors channel. Okay. And I'm going to play this video and I'll be back once it finishes. Okay. Wait a minute. First, I got to test and see if I can hear it because freaking StreamYard be acting a fool. Hold on.
Also facing numerous lawsuits. The first one is in Texas. And then we appear to have one in Florida. And then you have two in New York. The first one being BizFund LLC versus Quality Mindset Services LLC. And then a ton of
Hold on. Something happened. Hold on 1 second. Let's child. Hold on. Hold the line. Jeez. Okay, there she goes. Okay.
because all these lawsuits are essentially the same exact thing, just different dollar amounts. What these lawsuits are about are future receipt sales, and it's essentially a loan, but it's a little bit different. So this cloud these Rucker businesses, they're alleging, were supposed to pay 3% of their daily income until this $79,950 was paid off. And they're alleging that after the first few payments, the payments either bounced or they just didn't come in. So they're arguing that Rucker defaulted. And we can see by the exhibit Cloud Fund presented, there seems to be quite a lot of bounced checks. And then they also attach the purchase agreement contract. Like mentioned, all these lawsuits say pretty much the same thing. They're all alleging they essentially got burnt by Quality Mindsets and I guess this Rucker dude. So now you're probably wondering, what's up with this Rucker dude? Well, in my opinion, this dude's a pretty powerful and big player in the South suburbs. Here's a list of businesses in his name, for example. And then here's a list for Indiana. I already mentioned Ohio and Michigan. Now, his main business appears to be this Rucker Holding, and it's essentially a holding company. So you have a whole bunch of businesses under Rucker Holding too. And then you have the Rucker Holding businesses in Indiana. And then you have more Rucker businesses under people like Kiana Belcher's name. And no, she's not the only one. There's others too. Like you have this Rucker Lending Credit Union LLC. And then one of these D squared businesses is a Rucker business as well. Belbaz appears to be completely separate. That appears to be like a real estate management company with one of her friends. Bell for Belcher, and then Baz, that's the first three letters of her partner's last name. And that person is also on the board of Friends for Kiana Belcher. And then Kiana also had this canceled business in Indiana that Rucker's name also appears to be tied to. And then last thing about Quality Mindsets. Although the Ohio and Michigan businesses appear to be active, the website's been long gone. And then you still have other businesses like Rucker Cafe. And I want to talk about this one right here for a bit because it's pretty interesting in my eyes. So I've talked about this one before. Tiffany used to have a business called Good Burger that was inside a South Suburban college. Surprisingly, or maybe not surprisingly, a few months after, the Southland Journal reported on these articles. And I do think they're true, by the way, because they do actually show some proof. There's email receipts and stuff like that. But a few months after this being reported on is when Rucker Cafe came in. So after going through these two things, it's pretty obvious to me that Tiffany and this Rucker dude probably aren't on the same page as far as things go. I can easily see why Kiana would be considered an op. And I can also understand why this cigar shop probably didn't get the building permits. And yes, I also think there was probably some dirty politics involved on the Village of Dolton's end. The last thing I want to talk about before moving on is Kiana Belcher's LinkedIn. Now, I find it extremely odd considering her main job appears to have something to do with this Rucker dude. There's absolutely zero mention of it. Nothing. Crickets. And then you see here this Bell Boz. It says she's been running it for 19 years. Yeah, no, that's false. So as we can see, there's actually two Bell Bozes. One's active and one's been dissolved. So as we can see, Bell Boz 1 was open for like 2.5 years or so. Incorporated March 20th, 2008. Dissolved 8/12/2011. So a little bit over 2.5 years. And then when we look up the active Bell Boz, or what I call Bell Boz number 2, incorporated 11/22/22 till today. So that's less than 2 years. As far as this company goes, she doesn't even have 5. I wanted to talk about the Southland Journal in this video too, just like I did in the video I uploaded yesterday and took down real quick. But this video will be another 20 minutes long. So now instead of 2 or 3 parts, this is probably going to be 3 or 4 parts.
All right. So there is, listen, I don't even know what to say at this point. You know, I want to thank my friend, the individual investor, because he did a lot of this research way back when. I promise you, it was a year ago. Go to his channel. I have tagged him in this video. You can go to his channel. Aubrey Johnson. Ooh, wow. Aubrey Johnson. It's definitely a lot to think about, right? It's a lot to digest here, right? It's a lot. When I was going through this research, it definitely is a lot. And it begs the question, was Tiffany right? Now, she wasn't right about a lot of things that she did, but let me tell you the question that I had, and I asked this question of several people. And the question I asked was, why does Kiana Belcher get so upset every time Lil Stank mentions real estate? Every freaking time. It was never a time that she did not get upset when Lil Stank mentioned buying property and would put buying property on the agenda. That's how the penny candy comment was birthed. It was birthed in a meeting where Tiffany put on the agenda several properties that she wanted to buy, that she wanted the village to buy, 2 being residential properties and 1 being commercial, I believe. And that is the question that I used to ask a lot. You know, when you know that something is wrong, so we do know, that Tiffany did not do everything right? And she didn't do a lot of things right. She did some unethical things. She did some illegal things, I'm sure, allegedly. But what happened? Those are the questions that, now that we are not being force-fed information or being, told things, What do we need to go back and inspect and look at? Did Otis and Murphy and Graham do business together? Who? I'm not sure who you're talking about. First of all of these lawyers know each other. They've known each other for years, like for years. So all of these lawyers know each other. For me, you know, you would have to see what they're doing in every village to find out what side of the story they're on. If they're on the victor or the villain side. I think that you have to, look into what is happening in each village to find out that. But, for me, I have yet more updates to give you, right? Have yet more information on the next Dolton update was Tiffany Henyard, right? Part 3 or series. We're going to call this a series. Maybe I'm going to say series. I'm going to change this name to series. We are going to discuss the new fire chief. Few things we need to discuss about the fire chief, the interim fire chief from what they said, who was the inspector. He was the inspector, and now he is the interim fire chief. Hey, Wyoming gal, how are you? You'll have to rewind because we have done our due diligence for today. Do you all care about any of this? I noticed that when Tiffany starts talking about property, Kiana goes ballistic. She starts spitting fire. Damn, they're crying and screaming all type of stuff. Kiana didn't get her cut. Allegedly. I don't know. That was the question that I always used to ask Mr. Aubrey. And Aubrey, I haven't seen you in a while. I'm so glad. I hope you're okay. I hope everything's good. I haven't seen you in a while on this channel. You all will have to let me know if you all want me to continue looking up these things and reporting on these things. If you don't care about it, then you don't care about it. Somebody made a comment and said she can't even get 1,000 views. Well, that's okay. And I'm fine with that. Because when history is researched, I want it to be known that the information was out here. So if you was ignorant to it, it was because you wanted to be and not because the information was not out there. The fire department is another interesting one. Remember the big stink the news made about Henyard's mismanagement affecting them? In the lawsuit they filed, didn't bring up Henyard or mismanagement once. We're gonna look at that individual investor because that's an interesting one. We'll look at that though after we look at this at the fire chief, and then we'll circle back to a couple of things that we need to do. Super producer, the historian, I love that. Me too. 1,000 clown or 100 interesting person. I know that's right. Listen, the information is out here. The individual investor, I hope you would consider emailing me. I would like to just be able to confer, information because there are some things that I have found. I'd like to make sure, that I have more than one source, with this information. So I hope that you consider emailing me because I'm looking for a particular video that that's no longer available. I'll reach out to you. I respect what you're doing. Thank you. I listen, the individual investor, I highly respect you for your research abilities and capabilities. And just beyond your research abilities, also your financial information that you give is great. I know that you haven't done anything on your channel in a while, but I hope that you, I know what you went through during this time, during that time. So, um, me first and foremost, I want to apologize to you um, for what you went through during that time because it was definitely unwarranted. Um, and so I hope that you accept my apology, and I do highly respect your work, highly respect it. Aubrey Johnson, you love this channel? I love his channel as well. I watch every video. I know that's right. I'm done with YouTube. It's not worth it to me. I understand individual investor. Listen, I have thought 1,000 times of the same thing. Okay, because I have been bullied. I have been. Lots of things have happened to me, but I am very invested in my community. I'm very invested in my community getting it right. And we need to get it right. And we need to have somebody out here helping us get it right. And so, but I do understand, and I understand what you went through during the time that you were putting this information together. People did not respect it because they were being told not to respect it, as they are being told not to respect me, as they are being told not to watch my channel, as I am being blocked from putting out this information. I get it. I understand it. I totally get it. Thank you, Wow Miguel. Now, for all of you that received a gift membership, thank you, Wow Miguel, so much. You have just received a gift. And I suggest for the next 30 days that you go into that members only community and that you watch all of those videos. Thank you so much, Wyoming Gal. I appreciate you so much. Thank you. But for all of you that received a membership from Wyoming Gal, she just gave you gold. You need to go in that community, in that private community. And I don't make a dime off of those members only videos, just to let you know. I do everything in that members only video because people have purchased memberships to my members only. And that is really what drives and supports this channel. And so they get a lot of information. As a matter of fact, what's today? Today is Saturday. On Tuesday, hopefully, because we're getting ready to go into Thanksgiving. On Tuesday, we are going to start we're going to start the deposition of the Kasperick in the trial with Bert Odelson and McGrath and Stark. We're going to start the deposition on Tuesday. I only talked about the South suburbs because I'm from here. If I didn't grow up here, none of this would have ever been a concern to me. I know I heard you say that on one of your videos, and it's very unfortunate that you were not received, in a better way. I know that your videos did get a lot of play, and it's unfortunate because you have a lot of information and knowledge, and it is that financial knowledge in particular that people could really benefit from. All the BS I don't care about. Internet is cruel. It's expected and all good. I just find it sad that most people can be so easily manipulated. Me too, individual investor, because baby, listen, now I am public enemy number one for whatever reason, but it doesn't bother me at all because as long as I post these receipts, you can call me whatever you want. But you can call me whatever you want, but just know this. Okay? Okay, did y'all hear that? Did y'all hear that? Did y'all hear? Okay? So, while I do not make thousands of dollars or maybe even hundreds of dollars on this platform, okay? So I don't care if it's 2 people watching this platform. I'm going to give the information so that those 2 people can be fully informed, at least for a little while, until I get tired of people beating me up, until I get tired of people running down my name, until I get tired of people lying so much that it's just not worth it. So I get it. I get it, the individual investor, but you got my respect always. You have my respect always. And thank you for your research and your dedication during that time, even in spite of what you were going through. Thank you for doing it. Don't worry, it's going to stop. Listen, it definitely is. And I'm not worried because it is. Okay? Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was very informational. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe. Share this video wherever you can share it so that people have the information that they need. On Monday, we are moving to our Black author. We have a Black author coming on the channel on Monday, and we will be talking about their book. We have the actual author coming on the channel. You don't want to miss this on Monday. We also will be talking in my private community on, I can't do it on Monday, but on Tuesday night, we will be in the private community doing the Kasperic deposition. We will be going through that just like we went through the Tangenique Miller deposition. We will be doing that in the private community. For all of you that received a gifted membership, congratulations to you. Run as fast as you can to the private community videos and watch all of the ones that you can. Regina Waldrop is in there. Colby Chapman is in there. Stephanie Wiederman is in there. There are exclusives in there. There are things that I absolutely did not talk about on this platform in the public in there. So run in there and go in there and watch those videos before your 30 days is up if you do not want to stay a member. But I promise you, you're going to want to stay a member after you watch all of those videos, because you are going to be shocked, amazed, surprised, and grateful that Wyoming Gal gifted you such a beautiful thing. Listen, Super Producer wishes nothing but blessings for your life. Nothing but blessings for your life. None of this is in a malicious way or an intentional way. This is in a way that information needs to be released to the public. You need to have it and be armed with it so that you can vote accordingly, or that you can just carry yourself accordingly. Okay? Individual investor, thank you so much for popping in this evening. I hope that you have a great evening and a great rest of your weekend. Yeah, I'm out of here. I'm about to play this new song that I wrote. Let me find out. Where is it? Oh, there you go.
Let me see, where do we start? Yeah, let's talk about it. Let's define it to play. Come on. Since that's the only thing out of your mouth. 84 is a person who publicly supports. Say that. Or it comes as a particular cause. If you're the 80, if you can, then what is it cause? To buy yourself a restaurant and find a new home. But if the people will listen, they listen up. Will know your mind gone. Have you ever felt like you were drowning? Talk. Everything tomorrow surrounding. Still moving. Your brain now get it cloud. Disconnect. But then again, what do we expect? What you expect? The body never learned to survive without it. Brain to the red. Come on. One thing you had right that I would never expect. Real talk. You about working your mouth to gain respect. Run it up. What lacking the intellect? To challenge someone direct. I spoke the truth. You manipulate the proof. So the nigga ready for favor. You spin the story, huh? I see now why your voice is so loud. Too loud. Trying to be heard in the middle of a crowd. Attention seeker. Instead of going to sit down. Sit down. Sit down. You said back in the day you was a pastor. Oh really? But today you choosing to create disasters. Chaos maker. Creating false hope through a stream. And false faith in a pipe dream. I understand now I got them fires to sheep. Fast we follow. Cause we easily led by false prophets with big heads. We should study instead and with own eyes be headless. You don't have passion for the people. No love. No. You have a passion for performance. Stage spirit. Fusing righteous people from Jarman. To the Christian time where it's to transforming. Transforming. Now look at you traveling around. While everyone you kinda telling you to pipe down. Pipe down, pipe down, right down. Right now. Tell your little cutter, turn your mic down. Turn it out. Pipe down, right down. Yeah, yeah. Tell your little cutter, turn your mic down, down. For a minute, let's address your call. Let's talk about it. The ones who sit by while you stay silent. Trash, headless, and bad. Crazy. Well, professing God is an assault. On the book that he wrote. I wanna say congratulations to your congregation, the Saints Nation. Because to be born again is to have the ultimate obligation. Righteous anger for the behavior the son of Satan and speak. Coach, you should be worrying about being found. And when it's all said and done, will you be wearing a crown? What crown? So pipe down right now. Right now. Tell your little cutter, turn your mic down. Turn it down. Pipe down right now. Woo. Tell your little cutter, turn your mic down. Turn it down. Right now. Turn it down. Pipe down.